That is stunning. Someone you like deeply is in guilt because they've a grimy. My pricey infant, if you accept as true within angels, start this video and watch it completely. Angel says, be careful with your brother because your brother is making plans to take your peace, your inheritance, your truth, and your place on this international. You've depended on too easily, too deeply, without realizing the quiet intentions which have been growing behind closed doors. My baby, you need to be alert now greater than ever due to this fact the matters you've got not noted are the very matters which can be getting used towards you. A plan has been shaped round you, and it is not via strangers, but through a person who once smiled with you at the table, shared stories from formative years, and hugged you while protecting again mind they in no way spoke out loud. Archangel Michael says, I am status at your door. I am now not whispering anymore. I am commanding. I am ordering. Open your ears. Open your heart. Do now not forget about this message. I've visible what you haven't. I've watched your brother. I have heard the words stated while you were not inside the room. I've seen the documents, the texts, the name of the game conferences. This isn't always creativeness, and this isn't always confusion. This is revelation. And if you forget about this one greater time, you may awaken to a loss you may have averted. Your brother is protecting something that after belonged to you. It can be money. It is able to be property. It is able to be a relationship. It is able to also be a secret that can lose or spoil you. He is aware of. He is acknowledged for some time. And now he is prepared to behave. And you are nevertheless sitting there in comfort, nevertheless wondering love covers all evil. My toddler, love is sacred, but I never requested you to be blind. I never requested you to permit yourself be used in the name of loyalty. This is your second of unveiling. You think betrayal takes place with weapons? Number. The maximum painful betrayal wears a acquainted face. The most silent thief walks barefoot through the residence you believe. The devil did not come with horns. He got here with a handshake and a grin. He got here carrying your bloodline. That's why it hurts. That's why it is difficult to consider. However, I'm no longer asking you to react in anger. I am asking you to wake up. Because what is at stake now is your future, your motive, your peace, your divine mission. Archangel Michael says, the purpose I've included you this lengthy is because your calling is more than this moment. However, the enemy knows if he can keep your eyes shut, you'll lose what became written for you. Don't let your silence betray you. Don't let your fear paralyze you. This is your caution, and that is your armor. I'm status protect, but only if you pick out to concentrate. He has spoken to a person approximately you. Your name changed into spoken in a room in which your protection become no longer gift. And what turned into spoken was now not love. It become method. It turned into department. It changed into a quiet desire to very own what you failed to even recognize was yours. There are papers. There's money. There's inheritance. and most dangerously, there may be jealousy. It didn't begin this year. It began the moment your mind began shining in a manner that he felt he couldn't unshape. Your brother loves you, however now not above himself. He's suffering together with his very own shadows, and in preference to recuperation, he has determined to evaluate. He has determined to covet. Jealousy does not continually scream. Sometimes, it organizes. Every so often, it plots. Sometimes, it pretends the whole lot is exceptional, even as planting seeds of destruction at the back of the curtains. You should be sturdy now. There may be a motive. You have been introduced to this message nowadays. There's a reason this genuine second seems like your chest is tightening. Due to the fact something in you constantly knew. You did not need to consider it. You buried that suspicion due to the fact you desired to hold the peace. But God is telling you these days, fake peace isn't peace. It is a pause earlier than the explosion. And this time, the explosion will not simply be noise. It'll be loss, until you intrude. Archangel Michael says, in case you open your heart and pray, I am able to reveal the fact. I will bring names to you. I am able to display you messages, come up with desires, nudge you with signs and symptoms. But you have to no longer dismiss them once more. This is your divine exposure. This is your urgent divine moment. I'm no longer displaying this to you to spoil your love on your circle of relatives. I'm displaying this to you to hold what I gave you. I gave you advantages. I gave you non-secular presents. I gave you divine prefer. And now, a person is trying to take the credit for it. Worse, they may be looking to erase you from the story. Your brother isn't performing on my own. There is someone influencing him. A voice in his ear that speaks bitterness, manipulation, and manipulate. A person who would not love you and by no means has, but they realize they cannot touch you at once. So, they poisoned your brother's mind. And now he's becoming a vassal. However, you still have time to wish. You still have time to show this quietly, spiritually, accurately. Do not confront with rage. Confront with discernment. You don't want revenge. You want strategy. Due to the fact the instant you act with divine precision, the plan against you falls apart. This is why you've been feeling tired. That is why your goals have felt complicated. That is why your advantages have been delayed. Due to the fact the door that changed into alleged to be guarded, your circle of relatives have become the region in which the enemy walked in. But now that I've spoken, now what you realize, you're no longer a sufferer. You're a soldier. You are a vessel of divine reality. And what is yours cannot be stolen whilst you stroll in alignment. Archangel Michael says, you had been selected to see this. Do not suppose it's a twist of fate. Do not think this is simply every other message. This is your lifeline. That is your divine preparation. That is your spiritual safety. You need to stay alert. You ought to forestall oversharing with folks that secretly resent your light. You must guard your plans, your relationships, your cash, your prayers, there is a decision arising. Something approximately belongings. Something approximately division. Something prison. Be cautious with signatures. Be careful with office work. Don't be rushed. There is a clause that appears harmless, but it's far allure. And the one who is aware of about it's far performing like they don't. They're gambling harmless. However, innocence without reality is deception. And you aren't referred to as to be fooled anymore. You may see a sign in 24 hours. A call will seem. A dream will repeat. A document might be proven. A communication will sense off. This is your affirmation. Don't dismiss it. Even though it's subtle. That is Archangel Michael touching your shoulder. That is God saying, now you notice. The whole lot they tried to take from you may be restored. But healing comes to the woke up. Not to the asleep. Now not to the numb. However, to individuals who take delivery of reality and act in obedience. This is the instant your existence pivots. You concept it might come from outside. You notion it'd come from a brand new door. But number. It starts evolved with the place that felt most secure. Because if the enemy can attack you there, he can stop you anywhere. However, he will not be triumphant. Due to the fact you listened. Due to the fact you opened. Because you accept as true what this became not simply another message, however your divine rescue. If you'd want to donate or show your appreciation, you could provide a exceptional thanks as much as $100. Archangel Michael says, I am at your gate. I am surrounding your call with mild. I am breaking the invisible chains that envy tried to tie round your destiny. You are not alone. I am combating for you. However, I want your yes. I need your decision to upward thrust now. Because the postpone ends today. Your tears were counted. Your confusion has been heard. Your silence has been seen. But now, I am speaking louder than the lies that attempted to blind you. I'm revealing louder than the whispers of betrayal. And I'm bringing justice not through destruction, however through divine readability. You will upward thrust. You will reclaim. And when it is throughout, the same those who attempted to erase you will witness your victory. But you will no longer want to scream. Your peace will talk louder than revenge. Your elevation will silence each lie. Your obedience may be your testimony. And your safety. It begins now. This isn't always an accident. This is not a story a person made up. This isn't always only a phrase. It's miles of divine revelation sent directly for your soul. Because you have waited long enough, suffered lengthy enough, and asked sufficient questions in silence. You have cried on your room asking God for the truth. You've got wondered why a person you love so deeply feels distant, guilty, confused, or inconsistent. And now, ultimately, God is answering you. Finally, the Spirit is transferring. Ultimately, the veil is being ripped away. and the reality that no one changed into brave enough to speak aloud is now being poured into your heart. That is stunning. A person you adore deeply is preserving a guilt they do not know a way to convey anymore. They smile on your face. They are saying the right matters. They every now and then even maintain your hand. However, the reality is they may be weighed down by way of a secret. Now not a small lie. Now not an unintended omission. But a deep, grimy little mystery they was hoping could by no means floor. But heaven says time is up. The reality can't be buried. And what they are hiding is starting to decay the connection, the agree with, and the spirit connection among you. You've got felt this, haven't you? That something turned into off. That something wasn't proper. That there was a weight in the room that did not belong to you. You've got taken the blame for his or her temper swings. You have wondered if you were doing an excessive amount of sporting too tough, trying too deeply. But it became never approximately you. It became approximately what they're hiding. It is approximately the guilt they have got been sporting on every occasion they appearance in your eyes. The shame that eats away at them on every occasion you talk love over them. The silence that screams whenever you say, "I believe you." Due to the fact inside, they recognize they are not worth of that trust right now. The key is consuming them alive. They cannot sleep right. They can't breathe right. They cannot connect to you fully due to the fact the wall of deception is getting taller with the aid of the day. They want to inform you, however they're terrified. Because this is not simply something casual. This mystery entails betrayal. And it involves you. And it entails a past choice that they thought might in no way come again. But now God has added you to this message. Because you deserve the reality. Now not because God wants to smash anything, but due to the fact the reality is the most effective aspect with a view to lose you. You've got been affected person. You have prayed. You've got forgiven belongings you did not even apprehend. You've got stood by them when you had every cause to stroll away. You've got believed in their capacity more than they believed in themselves. And God saw that. God honored that. However, God additionally saw what they had been doing behind the curtain. He saw the DM they answered. He saw the variety they stored underneath a fake name. He noticed the communique they deleted. He noticed the assembly they never instructed you about. He noticed the slip-up they buried. And now, enough. You like with purity. You deliver your coronary heart absolutely. However, God refuses to assist you to be deceived anymore. This individual is aware of you like them. They know they do not deserve that love. And that is why they're afraid. It is why they've been pulling back emotionally. It's why their responses have changed. It is no longer you. It is their guilt. They are dwelling with the steady struggle in their soul. Because they want to hold you. But additionally they need to preserve the secret. And that cannot hold. This message is being dispatched now because spiritually, something is breaking. What they're hiding is set to be discovered, whether they like it or no longer. It is coming out through divine publicity. You may pay attention something, see something. A person will say something to you. Or you may have a dream so clean, you'll wake up in reality. Because the time of pretending is over. This isn't always to hurt you, it's to launch you. Because love constructed on a lie isn't love. It's manipulate. And God will not allow your coronary heart to be manipulated in His call. You prayed for readability. You begged God for a sign. You cried and said, Lord, if they may be lying to me, please just tell me. That is that second. That is that signal. That is the solution to the ache you have been carrying silently. The way they have a look at you after they assume you are not watching, it is guilt. The trade in their tone when you deliver up certain humans, it's fear. The reality that they overreact when you ask small questions, it's the tension of a person who has something to hide. And God is telling you now not to gaslight yourself anymore. Your intuition isn't paranoia. It is prophecy. What is even extra stunning is that this secret failed to simply manifest. It has been hidden for longer than you suspect. A number of it started earlier than you even got near them. And as opposed to coming clean, they buried it, thinking it might die. However, secrets and techniques do not die. They hang out. And this one is haunting them every day. They rehearse the confession of their head, but they're too scared to speak it. They may be afraid you will hate them. Afraid you will leave. Afraid you may see them differently. However, the longer they wait, the more serious it is going to be. You deserve honesty. You deserve clarity. You deserve love that doesn't include question marks. And the truth is, they do love you. But additionally they failed you. They understand it. And heaven knows it. It truly is why God is intervening. You have a cause to satisfy. A destiny to stroll into. And confusion cannot be a part of your environment anymore. Lies can't live in which miracles are being organized. You're about to get hold of something fundamental. But it cannot come until fact enters your existence. So now, you're being given insight. Now not to panic, no longer to assault, but to prepare. To are looking for God greater deeply. To pay attention to the signs and symptoms. To listen whilst your spirit speaks. Due to the fact the verbal exchange you've got been dreading may also soon appear. Or you may ought to ask the question that unlocks the floodgates. Both manner, you are covered. You're protected. And you are guided with the aid of divine information. Do not permit guilt pressure you to just accept crumbs. Do not let loyalty to who they was forestall you from acknowledging who they have grown to be. Human beings alternate. And sometimes they fall. But it is not your activity to keep a person who's dedicated to hiding the reality. Allow God lead you. Permit the spirit monitor what desires to be visible. You aren't loopy. You aren't overthinking. You aren't being too sensitive. You're discerning. You are awoke. And you're now being spiritually armed. Their grimy little secret is set greater than simply infidelity. It is approximately identification. There is part of themselves they have hidden from all people. A trauma they never healed. A part of their past they still deliver disgrace about. And instead of facing it, they covered it up with aura. But a peel does not heal wounds. And now that wound is bleeding into your connection. You may experience it on every occasion they say, "I'm best," however their spirit says in any other case. And now, God is asking you to appear in reality. Because while you realize the reality, you will be capable of select with electricity. You'll either forgive and heal or release and grow. But you may not be pressured. The enemy loves confusion because it paralyzes progress. However, now not anymore. This message is the beginning of your clarity. You may dream in a different way. Pay attention in another way. Figure otherwise. And yes, you may love otherwise. With wisdom. With focus. With boundaries. The following 24 hours could be good-sized. Be aware of the phone name that comes. Be aware of the shift of their conduct. Be aware of what your spirit whispers. You aren't on my own on this. Archangel Michael is preventing on your peace. The Holy Spirit is overlaying your heart. You will no longer be damaged. You will no longer be betrayed again without revelation. You are blanketed. This is stunning, but it's vital. Because you're approximately to be upgraded. And something constructed on lies cannot survive the elevation. The humans supposed for you'll rise in truth. Those assigned for your next bankruptcy will walk in honesty. You don't must beg. You do not must chase. You do not need to show your really worth. The reality is enough. Your coronary heart is sufficient. Your presence is enough. Allow the publicity come. Allow the truth rise. Let the guilt spoil them open. And allow your soul be unfastened. Because this secret is not your shame. It's for their decision. And God is handing you the energy to sooner or later pick out what you've always deserved. Actual, raw, restoration, sincere, holy love. This is not a twist of fate. This is not an coincidence. You're reading this proper now because your spirit is being summoned to fact, to revelation, to recovery. Heaven has determined that the time has come on your eyes to be open to something that has been hidden in plain sight. There is a person on your lifestyles, a person you love along with your whole heart, someone you will by no means suspect, who is carrying a mystery so heavy, it has been affecting your direction without your cognizance. This is not intended to interrupt you, but to loose you. This is not supposed to wreck your love, however, to reveal what changed and to buried under layers of guilt and silence. They're trembling in their spirit. They have rehearsed the words but cannot bring themselves to mention them. They examine you with love, however it smiles combined with a deep disgrace. This shame is not new. It didn't begin the previous day. It has been there for longer than you believe you studied. And the reality is, it is not entirely about you. It is approximately what they did, what they hid, what they blanketed up because they failed to need to lose you, disappoint you, or reveal an aspect of themselves they was hoping might die in silence. But it didn't. It grew. And now, it cries out for release. You may have felt the shift already. The unexpected alternate in behavior. The unpredictable distance. The moments they shrink back just when you're prepared to get closer. You thought perhaps you have been imagining it. You thought maybe it changed into just strain, timing, or mood. However, no, this is spiritual. That is emotional. That is the burden of guilt shaping how they love you. And at the same time as their love for you is actual, so is the guilt that continues them bound. God is not exposing this to make you hate them. He is exposing this to prevent both. Because love without reality cannot continue to exist. It may linger, it can pretend, it could wear a smile, but sooner or later it suffocates underneath secrets and techniques. And what's coming to light is not to humiliate but to heal. You ought to take into account that what they may be hiding turned into no longer deliberate to damage you immediately. It was born of fear. It changed into born of weak spot. It turned into born in a second they wish they may take again. However, they cannot. And God says the simplest way forward now is fact. And the reality is coming. This character is dropping sleep. They may be speaking to themselves in silence, questioning if you already realize. They are on the threshold of confession, but their fear of your reaction holds them hostage. They love you, however they may be terrified that the fact will push you away. They've created a model of reality that excludes this part of their beyond or present. But no more. Mild is coming. No longer to damage the connection, but to purify it. No longer to rip it apart, but to anchor it in something real. Real love. Actual fact. Actual belief. God can't bless what is built on deception, regardless of how small the lie may appear. Archangel Michael is standing beside you. His wings are unfold wide, shielding your heart. He has been looking over you whilst the sector tried to lie to your face. Whilst someone smiled at you but withheld something they ought to have stated. Archangel Michael has cried with you in moments you didn't understand your personal sadness. Those emotional breakdowns that got here out of nowhere were no longer random. Your spirit becomes sensing something your thoughts could not system. That wasn't weakness, it becomes spiritual intelligence. Your soul always knew that something wasn't quite proper. And now, it's time. The clock can't rewind and the past cannot be undone. However, what can appear now is freedom, healing, and clarity. This secret isn't always as easy as a mistake, it's layered. It involves a person they wish you would never discover about. It entails selections that had been made without consulting you. It may even involve any other individual, a second of betrayal, a lie approximately where they have been or what they did. but earlier than your heart rushes into anger or heartbreak, to pause. Breathe. Come again to me. Due to the fact I am not showing you this to take away your peace. I am showing you this so that actual peace can eventually come. You cannot build a destiny on foundations that are cracked. And the enemy has attempted to whisper lies to preserve them from telling the fact. He has made them trust that the lie is simpler to stay with than the fact. But the weight of the lie is killing the pleasure among you. The guilt is growing emotional distance that you didn't earn. You've got cherished them purely. You've got given your heart, some time, your loyalty. But a part of their heart has been locked at the back of a door they refuse to open. But heaven has the important thing now. And whilst God comes to a decision to open a door, no guy can close it. To put together your coronary heart. This fact might also shake you. It is able to assignment your view of them. But it will not damage you. Due to the fact you are more potent than you understand. You are extra resilient than you accept as truth. And most importantly, you aren't alone. The Holy Spirit will provide you with the know-how to realize what to do subsequent. You do no longer want to panic. You do no longer want to fear. You aren't being deserted. You are being aligned. What is occurring is divine alignment, painful, yes, but necessary. Sometimes we pray for truth and we don't recognize how heavy truth may be. However, God would not come up with more than you may deal with. This revelation is a present, despite the fact that it seems like grief in the beginning. It will make feel quickly. You'll apprehend why they behaved the manner they did. You'll see the puzzle pieces coming together. And you'll have a choice, to forgive or to walk away. But either preference can be commemorated with the aid of heaven as long because it comes from an area of wisdom, now not revenge. God says you aren't responsible for what they did. However, you're chargeable for the way you reply. You're being watched by using heaven now. Angels are recording your reactions. Because what you do on this moment will form not just this stating, however your religious elevation. If you can respond with grace, with fact, with limitations and love, you will be lifted into a higher realm of style. In case you pick healing over hate, you'll be rewarded past your imagination. But if you allow bitterness take root, you may put off what I need to offer you. So preserve your coronary heart cautiously. Let me guide you. Let me speak before you communicate. Permit me circulate earlier than you circulate. There's something extra. This mystery isn't only a moment. It could have affected something you care approximately deeply. It is able to have encouraged decisions they made about your shared plans, your finances, or your non-secular connection. They may have informed someone else the fact and now not you. That is what stings the most. That they confided in a person else and left you inside the dark. However, I, the Lord your God, say this darkness ends now. You are not made for confusion. You aren't made to be a 2D option. You are not made to be lied to. You are royal in my eyes. You're sacred. You are holy. You deserve honesty. You deserve clarity. You deserve a person who isn't afraid to expose you every part of themselves, even the broken components. And I'm raising your fee on this season. I'm moving your identification to reflect who you without a doubt are in me. No more shrinking yourself. No more staying quiet to keep away from battle. No greater sporting burdens you fail to create. It's time to upward thrust in dignity. It is time to talk truth in love. It's time to stroll in your anointing. Archangel Michael says you are divinely covered in this. Irrespective of how heavy the reality is, it's going to no longer crush you. It'll form you. It'll make stronger you. And if this man or woman simply loves you, they will come ahead soon. Their spirit is already shaking. Their dreams are disturbed. They're stressed because the reality desires to be loose. They will cry. They will collapse. However, it's no longer your job to restore their guilt. It's your activity to concentrate to what heaven is announcing. And right now, heaven says, brace yourself, but don't fear. That is the start of a deeper adventure. I will speak through your desires. I can shift signs and symptoms. I can verify what your coronary heart has already sensed. And when the time comes, I am able to provide you with phrases to say. You might not want to rehearse. My spirit will fill your mouth. My presence will stand behind your voice. You may not tremble. You will now not be manipulated. You'll not be guilt-tripped into staying silent due to the fact reality is holy. The affection it's built on lies is not love. It is control. I need you to be loose. I want you to be entire. I need your like to be mutual, sincere, and safe. They may be coming to a breaking point. You could even notice it in their eyes quickly. A trembling. A shift. A moment wherein they almost inform you. Be still. Be patient. Permit the truth flow. Do no longer chase it. Allow it come. Due to the fact while it comes, it'll come rapid. It's going to spill. It'll pour. And you may be left with a coronary heart full of choices. However, you might not be alone. I could be there with you. Speak. Guiding. Defensive. This message isn't always just a caution. It is a practice. You're about to step into readability. And with clarity comes peace. No more second guessing. No more emotional confusion. I'm slicing through the fog. The fact may additionally harm, but it's going to additionally set you unfastened. Unfastened to love with cognizance. Free to select your direction. Loose to transport ahead in divine timing. Now lift your head. Take a breath. Allow the fact come. You are ready. You're brave. You aren't damaged. You're blessed. Heaven is with you, and you will rise.